first time I met my wonderful firstborn son was in St. Vincent's Hospital. And from that day on, he was the love of my life. Not that I didn't love my other children more, but he never, ever disappointed me. And I hope he loves his children as much as I love mine. One time, John made me very angry, and I ran after him up the stairs, and because he was so tall and he had an arm reach that was phenomenal, he'd hold my head, and I'd be swinging at him, and I couldn't touch him, and we'd both wind up laughing that I'd forget about what I was angry about. John means to Daddy and I a person who is unselfish, giving to his brother and his sister, and when I needed him, when his daddy was in the hospital, he was the first one there, and we could never, never forget how much that meant to Daddy and I. Even though our other children came, but he was always there for us, and he always will be.
Something not a lot of people know is that all my children, Suzanne, Jason, and John, worked for me in my computer services and direct mail business at one time or another. And John, because he wanted to go into computers and computer science, I was trying to get him more involved with the business. And even though he was 16, the phone would ring and I would say, John, answer the phone and talk to the client. But Dad, I'm not sure what I should... John, you'll do fine. Just find out what they want and answer them with control and the fact that you think you know what you're talking about. And he did. And as a result, John developed, and if you'll excuse the expression, balls of steel. And there was no challenge that he could not meet as a result, hopefully, of those experiences.
I think it's safe to say that John's professional accomplishments speak for themselves. Because, you know, he lives in such a tiny house with tiny things. And there's not a lot of space for a lot of people. But no, seriously, I think his accomplishments obviously speak for themselves. But I think what gets lost is what this man does on a week-by-week, month-by-month basis in terms of how much he travels and the places he goes and the people that he sees and he has to work with and wine and dine and build relationships with and network with and then, of course, show his level of expertise with. I think that sometimes gets lost, and I think it's something that really needs to be highlighted because it's quite amazing. What he does is no small feat, and I think it deserves to be underscored. What's also interesting about who John has become is how completely deeply rooted he remains in his upbringing and with his friends. I don't know much of what happened in truth when John was younger. I just know stories. And some of the stories I know involve, you know, the kind of regular friendships that he maintained with Gagliardo, with Gaida, with Driscoll, with Miller, you know, the clan, if you will. And I know some of those things that they did were really, really out there. I hear things about jumping off of Anthony's roof into his pool, making some maybe late night trips into labs at high school. And, you know, obviously outside of school hours. I know on occasion he may have left in the evening with mom or dad's car, although if you try to quote me on that, I'll deny it. Although I think I'm getting busted right now. But, you know, I think that was what also really created some amazing connections for John with his friends. And to this day, they remain solid. And I think that is something that is to be coveted and something to be admired. And I give John and his friends a great deal of credit for that.
What does John mean to me? John means everything to me. John is an inspiration. There's not a time when I leave from visiting my brother that I don't come away feeling inspired. As a brother and a friend, there's nothing more I like to do with John than watch mixed martial arts fights and eat Hooters. I'll never forget the time when John and I were really young, riding our bikes in Daytona, Florida, along the super busy highway that had deep canals on either side, Cars were flying past us, and we almost fell into the canals several times. It was so scary, but it was so fun. Of course, we got in so much trouble. I'm not sure if I ever told anyone else this, but John and I used to have spit fights when we were real young. They were disgusting, and for some reason, always in my bedroom.
When I first met John, it was not love at first sight. I will tell you that. I won't tell anything else, but I will tell you that. He was the partner on the project, and frankly, he kind of reminded me of the mafia boss, because that was the kind of guy he was. At least what I saw when he stood up there and talked to the team, very serious, very goal-oriented and directive, and everybody knew who was boss. So pass about 8 to 9 months, and he asked me out. So imagine my surprise. And initially, quite frankly, I wanted no part of it. At the end of the day, I decided, you know what, give it a shot, let's try. It's gone a couple of dates, and we had fun. And I found out he's a family man, which is really important to me. He was just so nice, and he wasn't what I imagined at all. Fast forward 2 years, and we were married, and honestly, I feel like the luckiest woman in the world now to have married someone who is just so perfect. Perfect for me.
John Chiaramella is turning 50. I'm not sure anyone would know that when you see him in his Superman and comic book hero costumes at Comic-Con. Seriously though, John has been a friend, a colleague, and a confidant for over 20 years, someone who I could lean on in my career, and hopefully I was someone he could lean on as well. Regardless of what the situation was, good or bad, John always finds a way to lighten the situation with laughter and discussions about his new gadgets and electronics. Remember, John, as you reminded me on my 50th birthday, the Grim Reaper is right around the corner, and 50 is the new 40. Love you, buddy.
I remember that time so clearly when Johan drove us around all day to look at wedding venues. That day, I was so impressed by his patience. They say patience is a virtue, and he got it. He has the secret recipe of a successful life, and maybe one day he can share the ingredients with us.
The first thing I remember about John is how he ordered. We were at the Palm Restaurant in Charlotte, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. He was, knowing you guys all know John, he's very particular. He knows exactly what he wants, and it made me smile. And every time I think of it, I smile ear to ear.
You didn't even take it.
It's disgusting.
You would have liked me or DC's better.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this.
No, I've already tried. I don't like beer.
Remember when he taped the black nickel to his chest? He had the black nickel taped to his chest?
The black nickel.
We found out about the black nickel taped to your chest. He thought he was a superhero with that, but I beat him. I pulled up my shirt, I had 5 pennies taped across my chest. That outdoes the black nickel any day.
We were super good.
Yeah.
We used to help old ladies across the street.
By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Chiaramella, I was not there when John blew the tire on the station wagon at the McDonald's drive-thru. Just clarifying.
Oh my gosh, when it comes to John, there are so many awesome things about him that continue to surprise me every day. He is such an awesome dad, a very incredibly hard worker, an avid traveler, but deep down inside, John is a little boy. He loves his chocolate cake, he loves his steak and potatoes, he loves his video games, and he loves comics. John is awesome.
So the thing about John, man, where do I start? I think the thing that most struck me when I met him was just how much of a gentleman he is. I think more than any other person, I just saw how much of a romantic he is, which is something when you first meet John, it's not the first thing you think about, but it's that dual nature, almost like he's a Superman of some sort.
One of my favorite memories I have with my dad is when he would take Caitlin and JC and I out golfing with him. It was so fun to spend the whole day together, and we always laughed a lot. Whether it was because we had accidentally pushed Caitlin out of the golf cart, or the time when us kids almost drove the cart straight into a tree while my dad was teeing off, we always had so much fun and made a lot of really great memories together.
He is a husband, brother, cousin, son, and friend. But the best thing that John Chiaramella is a dad. He is a dad who always lifts his children up and guides them where they need to go. He instills confidence and pride in each one of them with his loving words of wisdom. He has always been the dad that you're able to turn to for any kind of advice or a good laugh. He is the best dad a kid could ever wish for.
A great memory I have of my dad is how he always has supported me during wrestling by yelling the loudest and being the parent that everybody can always hear.
One thing that's annoying about my dad is that he always has the most complicated remotes for all of his TVs. And no one else knows how to work them but him. So you always have to call him whenever you want to watch TV in his house.
Hey, Gabi and John, we're honored to be here with you guys to celebrate John's birthday, so Rhonda and I came up with a little tune to help. So here we go. It was 2011, the year for Gabi and John, the best damn couple in all the land. It was meant to be, and soon they became a we, as they exchanged their wedding bands. Celebrate John, he is a superman, he is a blessing to everyone he knows. He certainly loves his chocolate, his meat and potatoes, but salads and vegetables are a no, 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 no. Happy birthday, John! Na zdrowie!